Okay, so before our test, we started talking about the transformations. We talked about what affected the x and what affected the y. So this is what we had. And if it was inside the parentheses, it affects which variable? The b and the h affect the x. And what do we know about our x's? They lie. So these are opposites. And the a and k affect the y. And they're not our x's, so they tell the truth. Okay? Now, I'm going to do number 10 on the green stapled sheet. Number 10 is using this function that's already listed like at the top by the dotted lines on your, okay, yours is already there. So yours looks a little different, but I'm using this table with this function, okay, and we're going to do these transformations. And it's number 10 on your green sheet, the stapled one. So I have 3 transformations I'm going to do. The first one is a negative in the inside. So if it's a negative on the inside, which variable does that affect? X or Y? X. Inside the parentheses is always your X. So I'm going to multiply, or divide really, divide by -1. So if I multiply the X's, that's a reflection over which axis? Thank you. Reflect over y-axis. The -1, that's where it's our liar. It's the opposite, so not -1, but I'm going to add 1 to the x, so I'm moving 1 up. Oh, 1 to the right, sorry. And then 3 up. So in my columns, I'm going to multiply the x by -1, and then I'm going to add 1. And this is where the order of operation comes in. If you're doing 2 things to one column, you have to multiply first and then add or subtract. So if I'm going to multiply and then add 1, so I have -2. -2 times -1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. 0 times -1 is still 0, plus 1 is 1. 2 times -1 is -2, plus 1 is -1. And then 3 times the -1 is -3, plus 1 is -2. And then I'm going to add the 3 to the y column. So 0 plus 3 is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. So go ahead and plot. Go ahead and plot these. Did it? Okay, so does everybody remember now? Inside the parentheses is x's, outside the parentheses is y. So now go to the stapled pink one. And go to the second page. Bless you. This is called an absolute value function. So one way to remember it, absolute value, we have the V for value, and the graph is in the shape of a V. And here's what we use the absolute value function for. It's for distance. So if I am a football player and I'm running and I start at one end zone, I go to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and then what happens? I go to the 40, but did I lose 10 yards? When I get to the 40, did I lose 10 yards? No. I really have gone 60 now, right? So that's what the absolute value is. If you look at the equation, there's no y's. It's because it's a distance equation, okay? So, if I made the table now, oh, here, I forgot one. So, -2, what's the value at -2 for the y? 2, and -1 is? So, what do you notice about the numbers? And what happens as I go out? They're the same because this is symmetrical around the y-axis. So, my domain left to right is -infinity to infinity, and then bottom to top is 0 to infinity. Now we talked about if it was outside the parentheses, is this an x or a y? Y. So I'm going to multiply the y column times 2. So when I do that, I don't change my x's. So again, notice what happens with the numbers. They're still the same because it's still symmetrical. So when I plot this, so how does this one differ from this one? It's more narrow. And this is what I want you to think about. When you multiply by a number bigger than 2, it's like stretching a balloon. It gets taller and skinnier, okay? Taller and skinnier. So if the A is greater than 1, you have a stretch. So this is a stretch of 2. So A greater than 1 is a stretch. So you get a stretch of 2. So the negative here is outside the parentheses. So am I multiplying x or y? Outside the parentheses is y. If I multiply the y, it's a reflection over what axis? And then the plus 3 is 3 up. So these are both on which column? They're both on y, so which do you have to do first? Multiply and then add 3. So the x's stay the same. So I'm going to multiply by -1 and then add 3. So I get -2 plus 3 is 1. 1 times -1 is -1 plus 3 is 2. Somebody actually do this and make sure I multiply. Don't just sit here and write these down. Somebody make sure I did this right. It is. Which one? This one? Because we have to add 3. That's the only one I know I did right for sure. I'm good? Yes. I think I'm good. So this reflected over the x-axis, which means it flipped. So we flipped it upside down and then pulled it up 3. And that makes sense to me because if I added 3, the vertex has to go from 0 to 3. And the negative flips it upside down. Okay. Number 8, the A that's out in front, is it bigger than 1 this time? No. This one is A is less than 1, and so that's a compression. So the compression, if you push on a balloon, what happens to it? Shorter and fatter, like me. Short, fat, like short, wide, like I'm the balloon pushing down, okay? So this time the V is going to get shorter and fatter, okay? So I'm going to multiply the Y times a half, and I'm going to subtract 3 from the X. So I'm going to have a compression of a half, and I'm going to go 3 to the left. You better wake up and you better be writing. Because if I get back there and you're not, I'm going to find something to punch you with. Actually, I have an empty bottle. Pound on you with it. All right. Isn't today your day to run from missing assignments? If I took out assignments, you'd have to run, wouldn't you? Gassers. Is that today, Gassers? How many for every missing assignment? 5, I think. Is it 5 today? Sometimes it's 10. Is it 5 or 10? Oh my gosh. I know, but it's 5 per assignment, right? Yes. I love this day. This is the best day. Nope, you don't have any missing? I can fix that. I have the power to do that. Graph this. Do you have it? Why is yours blank? Come on. Am I right so far? Minus 2 minus 3 gives me negative 5. Minus 1 minus 3 gives me negative 2. 0 minus 3, no, this is 4. Okay, so graph. This should be right now. So I get negative 5 and 1. negative 4.5. So the compression made it short and fat, like me. Smash. Fat. Wide. Bam. Yeah, it is. It's all right. I'm okay with it. Does everybody understand so far? Okay, give me your question. Because if you have it, somebody else does too. So I always go back to the original, the original graph. And these are the ones you do that to. So I subtracted 3, right? So negative 2 minus 3 was negative 5. Negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. And then I multiplied these times a half. Okay? So you always go back to the original one. Okay? Any other questions? Does anybody want to see another one? One more? Okay. So, tell me, what do I do? First of all, what are the transformations? We didn't do this Friday, so... Oh, we did do it Friday. We tested, yes. Wait, did we review? Yeah, we did do this Friday. So, well, you weren't here, so you need to get tutoring. Anybody else have a question? The rest of you can do these?